Top 10 least favourite films of 2022. It's by Australian release date. It's also my opinion. So if you like these films, that's cool. So starting with number 10, we have Moonfall. This had a really interesting premise about the moon mysteriously falling out of orbit. And then in the second act, they reveal something about the moon that was just really over the top and a really crazy out there premise. However, this movie's really bogged down by all this boring family drama stuff you don't care about and really phoned in performances. John Bradley tried his hardest to salvage what was going on here. He really tried in this, but everyone else just phones it in, and they took what could have been a really interesting, cool premise. Like, if Christopher Nolan or Stanley Kubrick, if he were alive, directed this, would have been a really cool story, but with Roland Emmerich, it just didn't deliver, to say the least. Number 9, we have Jurassic World Dominion, which again had a really cool premise about dinosaurs trying to coexist with humans, all the problems that would happen with that. They barely touch on that at all, and it's all about giant locusts and things of that nature, and all of a sudden Chris Pratt's character can do like this thing, and it works on all dinosaurs now, apparently. I go to see a Jurassic World movie to see dinosaurs, not giant locusts. 8, we have The Grey Man, a very boring and predictable action film that I saw someone say feels like it was written by AI. The dialogue's really stilted and awkward. I normally love all the movies Ryan Gosling's in. This definitely wasn't one of them. Incredibly forgettable, not worth your time. 7, we have Blacklight starring Liam Neeson. It's another one of those Liam Neeson action films. So I wasn't expecting a masterpiece from this, but they don't even follow the character traits that they set up. So with Liam Neeson's character, they set up, he's incredibly OCD, he's incredibly careful, he checks the perimeter everywhere he goes, checks everything's locked constantly, things like that. And then later on in the movie, he's careless, which leads to events that trouble him. But I'm like, you're not even following the character you established at the start of the film. 6, we have Last Seen Alive, another forgettable action film. There's one character in this that acts very nonsensically, and I'm like, oh, maybe there's a twist regards to this character make a whole lot of sense. There isn't. You gotta change the last 2 minutes of this to make this film make a lot more sense, but that's just booking fan fiction. That's not what happens. Very forgettable action film with characters and motivations that don't make sense at all. 5, we have Prey. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Predator franchise to begin with. Other than the first one, most of them aren't great, but it's well established that the Predator is near indestructible. Like, it goes toe-to-toe with the Xenomorphs from Aliens, but somehow the main character of this is no match for the Predator for some reason. It just took me completely out of the film. Number 4, we have Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2022 version. This is the 3rd time the Texas Chainsaw Massacre has been remade. I don't have a problem with remakes as much as other people do, but if it's the 3rd time a film's getting remade, you kind of need to do something interesting with it. The masks look terrible. I hated all the characters. There's no reason this really needed to be made if they weren't going to do something groundbreaking with the IP. Number 3, we have Day Shift. It's kind of like an attempt at a buddy comedy / action film involving vampires. This guy's hard down in his luck, so he's trying to sell some stuff to support his daughter. And this is incredibly boring. The comedy didn't work. The CGI is terrible. I really hated this. Number 2, and it breaks my heart to say this, is my most anticipated film of the year, is Halloween Ends. Not only is Michael Myers barely in it, all the characteristics that are built up about Michael Myers just in this series, not the whole franchise, but this new series, are completely thrown out the window. In the end of Halloween Kills, he's shot and stabbed multiple times and just gets up and brushes himself off. Now in this, he's losing fights to teenagers. If they wanted to go in with this Corey concept, it should have been established in Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, not just thrown in the last minute. There's a quote in Sopranos where the wrong decision is better than indecision. You could tell they couldn't decide whether they wanted to make a Stephen King style film or a Halloween film, and it's just really awful. Its only saving grace is it has one of my favorite cameos in a film of the entire year. 1, we have Thor: Love and Thunder. Now, humor is subjective. I don't like Taika Waititi's sense of humor at all. I didn't even like Thor Ragnarok. So when this completely doubled down on his sense of humor, everything was a joke, which didn't work when the storylines involving cancer. You have Christian Bale as the villain, who did his best to try and salvage this movie, but his character just didn't work for a movie where they crack jokes every 15 seconds and it takes the wind out of any serious plot they're trying to develop. I hated pretty much everything about this movie. It was grating and irritating to watch, and I don't want to ever watch it again.